have always been for more integration, not for less integration. The European Commission has today much more power than we had before the crisis. The European Central Bank today has powers that were almost unimaginable some years ago in terms of European supervision that goes beyond national supervision. And I could give you more and more examples in terms of economic governance, for instance. So it's true that it was difficult. It is true that it was challenging. It is true that sometimes it was divisive, and there were polarized debates also between countries. Yes, it's like that among the 28 democracies. But the reality is that the decisions at the end were not to backtrack, they were to deepen our integration. So it shows once again that they were wrong. Those who were saying that because the European Union is enlarging, the European Union is going to be less able to deepen its process of integration. They are simply wrong. And I was, and I am, a sincere supporter of the enlargement of the European Union. I feel very much identified with countries like yours, like Hungary, and other countries. Because my generation, when I was in university, and I entered university in Lisbon, we were not believing in democracy. In 73, we were not yet a democracy. It was the revolution that came in 74 that allowed my country, Portugal, to enter a democratic path. And then for my generation, I think the same could be said for the same generation in Spain or in Greece, and also afterwards in the Central European countries. For us, European Union, becoming a member of that group of countries was a signal, first of all, that we are democracies, that we are not living under totalitarian or authoritarian systems, that we can have a role to play in our societies. But it was also more than that. It was a way of joining our natural club, our natural family. It was much more than about the structural funds. Of course, structural funds are important in some of our countries. The structural funds represent more than 75% of the public investment. So without structural funds, some of our countries do not achieve the results they are achieving now. Today, I have the honor and pleasure to hand over to the Prime Minister of Hungary of the partnership agreement that was concluded with the European Commission that will provide such an important support to Hungary in the next 7 years. And I'm sure that these structural funds can have a very important role for the growth, development, and modernization of your country. And since I'm in university, since I'm in a home of knowledge, let me highlight that precisely one of the priorities we care about is science. Science, culture, education, knowledge in general. I believe, and that's the title of a major conference that the European Commission is organizing next month in Lisbon, I believe that the future of Europe is science. That only by knowledge, we, as Europeans, will be able to face and to win the challenges of the future. If you want to have a role in the world, if you want to really to avoid any kind of decadence, that if you want truly to construct a renaissance in Europe, we need science, knowledge, innovation, and to invest more in education. Because this is what gives us some competitive advantage. And this is also where we can give a very important contribution also to the world. So I hope that the structural funds that we are now implementing in the cohesion countries, including Hungary, will, among other goals, of course, serve because of knowledge. During the last negotiations for the European budget, the budget that is, as you know, programmed in the European Union for 7 years, I was quite happy that in spite of the resistance of some capitals to invest more in the European budget, there was an agreement at the end to increase the budget for science. In fact, there is an agreement to increase it by 30%. That's the program that we have called Horizon 2020. More than 80 billion euros. It's one of the biggest, if not the biggest, public funding for science in the world as a program. I'm sure that this university and the other Hungarian universities, working of course with their partners in Europe, and if they want beyond Europe, because science should never be chauvinistic, I'm sure that you will be able to obtain some of these financing instruments that are so important to promote more knowledge, to promote more innovation, be it fundamental knowledge or, of course, practical innovation, to increase our capacity to create new products, new services in the competitive market. So, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends of Corvinus University, I want you to know that now, leaving my office as Commission President and passing it to very competent hands, I feel more than ever that the European Union has the strength to overcome all the difficulties. And my appeal to the Hungarian citizens is to stand for it. Of course, it's not perfect. I know no human construction that is perfect. There are some bias, there are some problems, and we have been trying to correct them. Some of them, in fact, in the middle of the storm. And I think you can agree that it's not easy to repair our boat in the middle of the storm. But that's what we have been doing, for instance, in the euro area, creating new instruments that did not exist before, and that now are there to face, if there are in the future, new crises. But the lesson I draw from all these years is that this resilience is there. Now we need one fundamental thing. We need to accept that the European Union is not just Brussels or Strasbourg, not the Commission or the European Parliament and the other European institutions. The European Union is us. I don't like, I have to say, and I've seen some of our countries, people saying, the European Union, they have decided that day. Why do we say they? Because Hungary is the European Union. It's not enough. Speak about the foreign power. Hungary is as much European Union as Germany or Portugal or Finland or France. So it's very important because, in fact, sometimes old habits die hard, and people tend to think still in terms of the nationalistic view of the past. Think that all the constructions that are not based on our country themselves are a kind of foreign power or foreign influence. It would be a wrong perception. By the way, the best way to defend the national interests, and of course national interests are legitimate, if they are, of course, according to the values that we hold dear, the best way to defend the interests inside the European Union, namely for a country the size of Hungary, is not to present the European Union as a foreign power. On the contrary, is to be at the center of the European Union and to give its solutions. To change also can be changed because, as I said, not everything is perfect. But not to put ourselves in the kind of political periphery. What we need is, in fact, the engagement of all the citizens of Europe. And this is the point that we need now to address very seriously. Because if we continue to think, as many think, that the European Union is just the business of the European institutions, only the matter for Brussels or for Strasbourg, that will not succeed. We need an appropriation, if I may use the word. We need ownership of the European project by all levels, not only of the leaders, at European, national, regional, or sub-regional level, but of the citizens, of the civil society, of the universities. And I'm so proud to have the opportunity to speak in these prestigious universities. And to make it work, to correct what is not perfect, but also to be able to respect what has been built with so many sacrifices over several decades. And this is a message I want to convey to you. Wish you, the University Corvinus of Budapest, all the academic community of Hungary, and all its individuals, all the best for the future, with a very sincere word of confidence and hope, knowing that a united, open, and strong Europe is the best way to protect and defend the interests of our citizens. I thank you for your distinction, and I thank you also for your kind attention.
and gentlemen, I once again greet all those present and hereby close this special session.
Ladies and gentlemen, dear distinguished guests, please stand up and remain standing during the anthem of the European Union and Bible speaking. After the secession of the board, please wait patiently until all of our VIP guests leave the room.